Israeli leaders made significant vows in the aftermath of the October 7th terror attack, but after a year, its military is now engaged in wars on several fronts. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared war and vowed that Hamas would, quote, pay an unprecedented price. The Israeli Defense Forces have killed more than 40,000 Palestinians, and Israeli officials acknowledge that a minimum of half of those are civilians. Israeli forces have killed several of Hamas's leaders, both in Gaza and abroad. Yet Hamas is still able to carry out attacks against Israel. On the anniversary of the October 7th attacks, Hamas fired rockets into Israel. Hamas is believed to still be holding roughly 100 hostages, the families of whom are desperate to see their loved ones return. Negotiations on a ceasefire deal that would free hostages and allow for humanitarian aid have stalled.
A lot of things don't look realistic until we get them done. We have to keep at it. Thank you.
Of the roughly 100 hostages, about one-third of them are believed to have been killed, according to the IDF. Israel's military more significantly turned its attention to stopping the attacks from Hezbollah into northern Israel.
IDF special forces entered into Hezbollah compounds in dozens of locations along the border with Israel, collected intelligence, dismantled Hezbollah's weapons and terrorist infrastructures.
They have begun small ground operations in southern Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah's arsenal, in addition to continuing its aerial campaign. Israel has severely degraded two of Iran's many proxy forces in the region, in Hamas and Hezbollah. Iran and Israel have engaged in a covert war for several decades as enemies, but twice over the last year, Iran carried out massive rocket and missile barrages against Israel. Israel is still weighing how to retaliate, which leaders have sworn to do. President Joe Biden has said he would not support Israeli strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. There could be a more limited Israeli response. The U.S.-Israel alliance has been strained at times over the last year, despite Biden and Netanyahu's decades-old relationship. Biden's own Democratic Party has split over his administration's continued support and military aid for Israel in light of the growing civilian casualty totals in Gaza. Vice President Kamala Harris has been more vocal about the plight of Palestinians, but has not differentiated how her potential administration's policies would be different from Biden's.